Earlier tonight I was pretty pissed. Before I talk about that, so as you can see, we're back onto my 3DS. So I replaced the shoulder button that wasn't working. In fact, I just replaced both while I was at it, because I'm not opening this thing a million times. So it was this button right here, this button that wasn't working, the right one. I believe last time I said left. Whoops. So the right one. Now there is a little bit of a problem with the replacement, and if you can hear this, if you can hear that, let me double check there is sound being picked up. Okay, you can clearly hear the clicking. Now if we go over to this one, the one that needed to be replaced, I don't know how well you can see or hear it. I need to push really hard to make this one work now. Instead of, just over here. So that's a bit of a disadvantage, the fact that I need to push pretty hard now for that button to work. So let me put the rubber band back on, because I needed to demonstrate that. Also, in the process of replacing the shoulder button, I also not only, I guess you could say, replaced the other rubber band, the one that was preventing this thing from slipping, but yeah, you can see here that I don't have it on, so this thing can easily slip. So if this thing moves around, well, remember why that rubber band was there before. That rubber band was getting too old, so I was thinking of replacing it, but then I forgot. So the shoulder button's back, which means my 3DS is operational now, once again. And I think statistically, using my friend's 3DS XL was actually less popular than me just using my own. Well, that's what the numbers said. I would have thought you guys would have preferred it. So let me show you what I saw. So remember, like I said before, I did go on Amazon and I did purchase brand new shoulder button replacements. I did indeed open my 3DS myself and replace the shoulder buttons myself. I felt like I was doing open heart surgery. The worst part about replacing the shoulder buttons was when the shoulder button itself came off. It wasn't hard to put it back on, it was just annoying. Because there's a little spring, and then there's a little metal rod to keep it in place. But anyways, so let me show you what I found when I opened it. So first of all, just as an example, here's a clean one. Oh, here's a brand new shoulder button piece. This is what you have inside your 3DS, regular 3DS, not XL. This is what you have inside your 3DS for your shoulder button to work. When I opened my 3DS, this is what I found. No wonder the button didn't work. This thing snapped right off. See that? No wonder my shoulder button no longer worked. It completely broke. It was broken by the time I opened it. Now, the reason why there's a disadvantage to the brand new one, this one being the new one, this one being the old one, if you can see, it's kind of hard to compare, but if you see, it's not completely flat. You'll just have to trust me. You see that middle part? This piece right here, I'm using tweezers to show. You see this middle part right here? That's also here? On the brand new one, it's kind of lower than on the old one, thus making not enough room. So that's why on the new one, it's much stiffer, much harder for me to push in the button because there's less room. Well, for the time being, it'll have to work. For now, until I decide, like, I can't take this anymore, and I go on Amazon and buy a different one. You know, buy the same part from a different seller. Hopefully the middle part will have a little more space. And then I decide to open up my 3DS again to replace it. For now, it'll have to do. On the bright side, after I'm done these hunts for Legends Arceus, I don't really have any more 3DS hunts in mind. I do have one, but that's more of a thing where I will probably do on my own. Because I don't think you guys want to see me for probably months, let's face it, probably for months, reset Ultra Sun and Moon for a shiny starter. I don't think anyone wants to see me do that. Full odds, as well as the fact that the resets take a very long time. So I think I will spare you guys that pain. And I think I will do that hunt on my own. I'm not going to do it immediately after this. You know, I'll do it at some point. So anyways, as I was trying to say, I am pretty pissed tonight. I was pretty mad tonight. Tonight was going off fine as well. And then something happened where got me pretty upset. It's not the From episode. So this happened just before dinner. I was literally cooking dinner. I was cooking because we had leftover rice, so I was cooking up some fried rice. I was in front of the stove, frying rice for dinner, and then I look to my side, I see my dog squatting, and then a bunch of, not even logs, bunch of soft brown came out. As I was cooking dinner, my dog pooed in the house. And I was cooking dinner. So I called my sister, please help. Toby pooed in the house. And she's just like, alright, clean it. Gee, why didn't I think of that? He pooed in the house, clean it? Wow, why didn't I think of that? And she didn't help. Nobody came to help. My dad was outside getting ready to do some yard work, and I told him, don't start it yet. Don't do it yet. He already pooed in the house. I was kind of hinting at him to please come in and take care of it while I was preparing dinner. But he clearly didn't get the memo because he didn't come in to help. My sister didn't come downstairs to clean. I'm just thinking, wow, literally no one's coming to help. No one is going to help me clean this. I am cooking dinner. I am preparing sustenance for us to ingest. You really want me to stop preparing food and go handle feces? And I was in the middle of cooking. I'm not just going to immediately turn the fire off while it's not even finished cooking yet. I'm going to finish cooking. Like, so be it if I have to be the one to clean it, which I was. I'm still going to have to finish what I'm doing first, which is preparing dinner, and then I get to go clean. Because, you know, I'm halfway done. I'm not going to stop halfway just to go clean up turds and then continue. I'm going to finish cooking my food, cooking the food for the family dinner we're having tonight. And then I'm going to go clean. So there I was standing there for a good more than 5 minutes. Just with turds on the carpet, stinking up the house, me shaking the pan, you know, getting some of that wok hay. You know what I'm trying to say. Like, I was cooking dinner, and nobody came to help me clean up the dog poo that was on the dinner table carpet. You know what I got told? I got told, okay, clean it. I was busy cooking dinner. Like, do you really want me to stop handling food and go handle feces and then return to handle food? Obviously, I wore gloves and then I washed my hands after, but like, would you feel comfortable? Eating food that you know had to be stopped cooking halfway so that the person preparing the food can go handle dog turds, dog feces, and then came back to return to cook the rest of your food? Would you feel comfortable with that? Even if I told you I wore gloves and I washed my hands before I continued? Probably not, right? So, my sister didn't help. She told me to do it. I guess it's kind of like he who smelt it dealt it. He who sees it cleans it. What was my sister doing instead? Well, she wasn't doing much to my knowledge. She was actually preparing to go out. Because, like I said before, my sister and her husband hasn't moved out yet. So, she was getting ready to be picked up by her husband to go over to his house to have dinner with, his parents and stuff. So she was getting ready to leave, and here I was, cooking dinner with dog poo next to me, and I was the one to clean it. I asked her to help me, and she said, "Alright, clean it." Now, look, I don't like it either when I'm in the middle of doing my own stuff and then I get called to clean up dog poo because someone else won't or someone else isn't going to. But you have to understand, more than likely, when that happens to me, I'm either gaming or I'm watching shows. I can pause. I won't be happy, but I'll still pause and get it done. Her, on the other hand? No, she was just getting ready to leave while I was cooking dinner. I was cooking dinner, and I was told to clean up the dog poo when she very easily could have. And worst part of it all, she feels no remorse. She feels like she's done nothing wrong. She's probably thinking "God damn it, brother. You told me about the poo, so why don't you clean it?" You have all this time cooking dinner, preparing food. You have lots of time to clean up that poo. Why do I have to do it? So I'm not happy. And because like I said before, because I'm upset and I have no one to talk to, I tried to talk to my parents about this, but, that went as well as you would think. I tried telling my mom earlier, "Remember, Mom, your daughter, I asked her to help me clean up the dog poo while I was preparing dinner, and she didn't help." My mom was just like, "I don't care. Don't tell me this. I don't care." And I'm just like, "Oh, really? You don't care if I'm handling your food that you will consume, if I stop halfway preparing your food and I use these hands to touch feces? Really, you don't care?" My mom was like, okay, I care. It's like, now you care. Now you care. I'm not happy. What I'm basically trying to say is that while I was cooking dinner, my dog pooed in the house. I asked my sister to clean it so, I could continue cooking dinner. But she didn't help. She told me to do it. She was just like, "Okay, then clean it. What do you want me to do? You want me to clean it? You're crazy. Why would I do that? You're cooking dinner. You're not doing anything important. You clean it." Today was going fine as well. Today at work I did 2 sales. Let's see, I did the first one was 590, and then the second was 850. And then I was given the blessing to come home early so I can mow the lawn. So I can mow the backyard lawn for my dogs to go outside. Fine. So I did that. I came home, I mowed the lawn, and then I took a shower. And then it's time to cook dinner, and you know what happened. Today was going fine as well. I made some sales, I got to come home early, albeit to do chores, but whatever, I still got to come home early. Today was going fine as well. You know, yesterday the day actually started off pretty great. Let's see, what did I get yesterday? I got 2. Oh crap, why can't I think of what it was? I got 2 shinies in Pokemon Go yesterday. What were they? I remember what one was. What was the other one? Ah, yes, that's it. Yesterday in Pokemon Go, I got a shiny Emolga off the Daily Incense. Turns out it's my first ever shiny Emolga in Pokemon Go, so that's cool. And then I got a shiny Metatitties. I'm kidding, Metatite. I heard Biden call it Metatitties on Dilzan's President's Play Pokemon Emerald. I'm rewatching that. Oh, not only because it's hilarious, but because it's been over a year since I watched it. No shinies in Pokemon Go today. You know, outside of Pokemon Go, I haven't gotten a shiny in a while. I haven't been playing Scarlet and Violet too much. Haven't been shiny hunting in that, really. I haven't been shiny hunting in Brilliant Diamond or Sword and Shield recently. And, well, clearly no shinies here recently. So outside of Pokemon Go, I haven't really gotten any shinies lately. So, my mom said... Actually, no, before I talk about that. So, regarding my in-laws... Well, they're not my in-laws, but that side of the quote-unquote family. My sister's in-laws, let's say. So, I said something quite a while ago, and I knew it was going to happen sooner or later, but it's happening much sooner than I expected. The day that my sister got married. Nay, before that, when my sister was going to get married, I knew that that meant that at some point that would guarantee I would have another wedding to go to in the future alone, solo, single. And, well, it seems like that's happening sooner than everyone expected. My sister's husband's brother, I previously said that he's interested in marrying his girlfriend. And, well, right now it seems like, yeah, they're going to. Next month. End of next month, I think. So, much sooner than expected. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, we don't know if we're going to be invited yet. Obviously, my sister will go, because that's his brother's wife, so she has to go. Regarding me and my parents, we don't know if we're going. We don't know if we're invited. Only because it's going to be a very small ceremony. It's going to be just a quick, get married, alright, cool, let's move on. It's not because they don't want a big ceremony, it's because, well, time and money. So, we don't know if we're being invited, and that's not the biggest reason. That's not the biggest thing to unpack. Another thing is, aside from true love, which I'm sure is there. Another reason that they're getting married in such a hurry is visas. She gets married, she gets to continue to stay here, that kind of thing. Now, like I said, aside from that. I'm sure true love is a factor. You know, ever since I heard, like, ever since my sister and her husband, before they got married, they were just dating. Ever since that. And I heard that he had a brother. He was already with this girl. So, he's been with this girl for quite a while. If they weren't going to get married now, they were going to probably get married eventually. Well, there's kind of a need for them to marry now, so may as well do it now, I suppose. If it wasn't going to be now, it was going to be later on. So yeah, that's why they're in such a hurry to marry. I don't know if I'm going to attend. I don't know if I'm going to be invited. Just because it's going to be really quick. A really small ceremony, that kind of thing. So I don't know if we're going to be invited. We don't necessarily need to be, you know. And I don't think my parents necessarily want to go. Their own daughter's wedding, that's something else. Of course they're going to attend. They wouldn't miss it for their life. But, you know, their daughter's husband's brother's wedding, it's like, we don't really need to attend that if we don't have to, you know? So in a way, it's like, yay, if I don't have to go, I don't have to bear the shame of going alone 2 times in a row. There really is no but on the other hand on this. It's just if I don't go, then I don't have to be alone. Great! Best of wishes to the newlywed couples. But man, I knew what was gonna happen sooner or later. Eventually, sister's husband's brother would marry and I would have to attend. But it seems like maybe not. We'll see. We'll see if we're invited or not. Maybe they'll invite us out of good gesture, and then we're like, shit. Now we have to go. There's a very, and I mean very good chance my suit from last year doesn't fit anymore. Buying fancy clothes and suits isn't easy for obese people, alright? Well, tomorrow night, we're going out to a buffet. In fact, it's going to be the same buffet that we celebrated my birthday last year. We're going to a buffet tomorrow night to early celebrate my sister's birthday. It's not her birthday tomorrow, but we're just celebrating it tomorrow because, I don't know. It's the only time they had reservations at the buffet, I guess. She's gonna eat her heart out because that place serves Peking duck. And she loves Peking duck. You know, this morning I almost screwed up big time. Currently job searching. I had 2 interviews previously with 2 other places. Today, this morning, I had a virtual meeting, and I almost forgot. Yesterday, through the email, was like, do you have time tomorrow at 10 a.m.? I'm like, yes, I have time tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then today, at 10 a.m., it suddenly hit me. It's like, oh shit, I was supposed to do that today. I was in the middle of brushing my teeth. I didn't even finish brushing my teeth. I had to quickly rinse and then get to my computer. I tried to log into my email on my phone, but of course, the one time I really needed to log in quickly, it just wouldn't work. It said too many tries and wouldn't let me try to log in. So I had to run downstairs, turn on my computer, sign into my email, click the link to like the Teams virtual meeting thing. And then, gee, what a surprise. My microphone wasn't working. I had to figure out how to do that. And then she was just like, please turn on your webcam, as if I was in a virtual class, a virtual lecture for school. And I'm just like, my computer doesn't have a webcam connected. Well, I just don't have a webcam on my computer. Well, if I don't need one, I'm not going to waste money to buy one. For what? So you can see my face while I shiny hunt a Dialga? Do you really need to see that? Is that necessary? So I almost screwed up this morning. I had this like online thing to do for a potential job, and then I forgot. The moment I was supposed to be there is when I remembered I needed to be there. But she didn't mind, she didn't question it. I guess she just chalked it up as technical difficulties. Because throughout the email, I was like, would we be able to do the interview or whatever on a phone call? Because I'm not familiar with this Teams thing that you want me to use. But I had to do that regardless. So I guess she just chalked it off as like, he's not really familiar with this. Give him a couple minutes. Ugh. And, well, it's a real shame. This really is a eat or be eaten world. She said that the position I applied for was already taken. Not because, I was bad compared to someone else. It's, they already hired someone else before I was even able to be given a chance. They already flat out hired someone before I even got the interview. And then she was just like, well, I didn't want to cancel the meeting just in case. Maybe we can find you another position at a different location. Well, the biggest shame about that is that job position, out of all the ones available, was like the closest one to me. Not the hugest commute. I would imagine like 10 to 20 minutes commute, which isn't bad. That's what I do normally every day anyways. But then she was saying, like, if you're open to possibly relocating, we have lots of different job sites outside of the GTA, outside, like different cities. She's basically suggesting I freaking move just to work. In a perfect world, in a different world, I would be able to do that. But, out of a whim, just saying, would you be able to, like, look into real estate for this job in this different city? It's like, no, I don't have the funds for that. Why do you think I'm job hunting? No, I don't have enough to rent an apartment just to go to this job, but I didn't say any of that. But obviously, no, I don't have the funds to buy a house in a different city just to go to this job. No, I don't have that. Well, the other option is commute for like, let's say, 40 minutes a day. And it's your fault if you're late thanks to traffic or weather, because that's the world we live in. Or subway, that kind of thing. Oh no, you would at least hope. You would hope that employers are understanding if you're late due to like snowy weather or I don't know, a car accident happened on the highways, thus a big traffic jam. You would hope so, but in reality, probably not. They would be like, why are you so late today? You are half an hour late. You're an hour late. I'm deducting your pay. Which makes sense. But then again, it's like, okay, if only it was like, I understand. You know, the weather's pretty bad today. And that kind of stuff. Now, even if I was late because of events outside of my control, I also would expect to be, you know, not paid the amount of time I wasn't there. I would expect that. I'm not saying I would not expect that. Man, job searching is hard. I have had 2 interviews, in a way, like 2 in-person interviews, and I don't think I'm gonna get either of them. I applied to my friend's job position, and I haven't heard back yet. I highly doubt I'll get that position either. And then today, need I say more? Job searching is hard. And I know, 3 jobs and none of them are hitting you back up. It's like, what did you expect? You expect to hit a home run first try? No, of course not. But yeah, job hunting is hard. So, back to the thing I was going to say earlier. Earlier tonight, my mom mentioned... So, Labubu, I'm sure you know what it is. I don't need to explain what it is. I heard from some source that my mom heard. Her sources kind of trust me, bro. I heard my mom say that the people at Pop Mart, the people who sell Labubu, that stuff, that blind box stuff, the stupid ass doll thing, this Labubu shit. My mom said like the higher ups at Pop Mart kind of don't like how popular Labubu is. They're thinking like, alright, it's kind of too popular right now, let's die it down a bit. Which is kind of bad for businesses that only sell these toys, because that means there's no stock. Now, that might just be an excuse the company made to excuse why they have so little stock. Let's face it, we know the truth. The truth is the product is so popular, it's too popular. They sold out quickly, and now they're out of stock. So now they need to come up with a reason to why they don't have stock to give stores and suppliers. You know? It was just too high of a demand, and they don't have enough supply. So I don't buy the higher ups don't like how popular it is. They need to die down the hype. I don't buy that whatsoever. You're telling me in this world, in this economy, your product, your IP, your character is selling so good, you are constantly running out of stock. You're telling me that the amount of money you're printing, you're telling me that you think it's too popular? You don't like that it's too popular? And that you need to die down the hype? Really? Really? Not even a company like Disney would do that. And you're telling me this Labubu thing, that's the case? Really? I don't buy it for 1 second. And then my mom was telling me instead of Labubu, they're now trying to push some other kind of toy. This other brand, well not brand, this other character. To try to replace Labubu? Really? You're not gonna ride this high as it prints you just infinite money, huh? Or at least until the hype actually does die down. Really? We hate money. Yeah, I don't buy it for 1 second. I don't believe for a moment, a microsecond, that the company, the higher-ups at the company are saying, our product is too popular and we don't like it. It needs to die down in the hype, the excitement. It needs to kind of fizzle out a little bit. It's too popular. I don't buy it. Oh yeah, there's yes, that's the term I'm looking for. Artificial scarcity to increase demand and hype and increases price. Yeah, artificial scarcity. That's the term I was thinking of or trying to think of. That's another thing I don't buy. Kinda. A lot of places are saying online, on their online retailer where they get the product from to sell is sold out. I can kind of buy that it is so popular, it's sold out. I can kind of see that. Although, however, I can also see artificial scarcity. It's like, oh no, we ran out of product. Guess you better raise the prices of the ones you do have if you want to really make sure you profit before we restock. I don't care about Labubu. I don't give a damn about it. I don't understand the hype around it. Only mystery box I care about are Kirby. And off chance anything else I actually care about character-wise. Labubu, I don't give two shits about. You know, that rainbow set of Labubu that is so hype these days? Oh boy. Oh, my friend just texted me. Hold on. Okay, anyways. So, yeah, that rainbow set of Labubu that is so hyped these days. My sister has a friend who sells this stuff, and she asked her to order her a box. Order her the full set. You heard me say this before. My sister only wanted the one color, so she ordered the entire goddamn set to ensure she got that color. Alright. And my sister said that her friend said it's sold out everywhere. It's on an extreme back order. It could take like a month or two before it arrives. You know, if you're willing to wait. So my sister, she was kind of thinking like, did my friend really give me that good of a deal? Did she really? Like, I'm fine with waiting, but the thing is, like, if she didn't give me that great of a deal, I can just go to that store right there and buy it so I can have it right now. And for some stupid reason, my sister refuses to go ask herself what the prices are. She always makes me go and ask. Because she too embarrassed to go and ask. So I gotta do it. So, fine. I walked over to another store and I asked, how much for the box? The whole set. All of it. Everything in the set. How much do you sell that for? And I was told, get this, $510. $500 for a box of 6 plush toys. You fucking kidding me? Alright, hold on. 510, and then you add tax to that. In Canadian dollar, that is $576. And then you divide that by 6. Oh my god. After tax, one of 6 toys costs $96. I am not paying a fucking $100 for a little plush toy. Got me fucked up. And then my sister was like, $500? Never mind, I'll wait the month or two. Because my sister was like, my friend gave me a deal, all of them for around like $360. 360 divided by 6 is obviously 60. So instead of paying $100 each, my sister's paying $60 each. Yeah, we're gonna freaking wait a month or two, however long it takes. I don't give a damn about Labubu. I don't care. Now, I don't care enough to buy it myself. Remember what I just said. My sister ordered the entire set to ensure she gets the one color she wants. She doesn't really care for the other colors, and it's because of that, well, I may as well snatch the red one if she doesn't care. She has it, she won't care, so I may as well take it. Now, this thing being as expensive as it is, yes, I'll care if I lose it, if someone steals it from me. And that's the only reason. It's not because I love the toy, it's not because I care for the character. It's just because this thing here, I have it on a technicality, and it's expensive. If I lose it, or if someone steals it from me, I'll be upset because of how expensive it is. And that's it. I highly doubt. Don't expect me to have that thing, that freaking doll on my bag, or on my body. Don't expect that for me. You know, my sister has one of the dolls on her purse, and I see girls and women walk around all the time with that thing on their purse, their bag, their backpack. I see it everywhere. Don't expect me to have one dangling off of me everywhere I go. I will probably just make one Instagram post, be like, well, I didn't care about this thing, and now I have it. And then that's it. I'll now just toss it somewhere into my room. What is going on in the world these days? Also, as of today, I have transferred a total of 21 legendaries from my Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home. So that's 21 more additional space I have in my game, which has completely been filled up by now. So, remember, I'm only allowed to transfer 7 legendaries from Pokemon Home to from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home a week. Only 7. And I checked. I took a look just before doing this. I checked just how many legendaries and mythicals I have caught from a raid to transfer. I have 133 mythicals and 561 legendaries. That equals 694. So 694 divided by 7. That, oh my, that is 99 weeks. That will take me 99 weeks. Isn't there only like 54 weeks in a year? So it'll take me almost 2 years. 2 years to transfer everything. Every useless mythical and legendary I have in my Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home to make space. A mere 700 space. But it's better than nothing. Now, I'm not going to transfer everything, because I didn't filter out shinies, I didn't filter out good IVs. So yeah. But do you know how many Deoxys I have in my game just because I tried to get the forms shiny? Oh yeah, the other day my friend said that his girlfriend gifted him a bottle of vodka that she got from work. It was some sort of I don't know what. I don't know what goes on. What happened? Hold on, let me see. Okay, she said. Oh wait, he said. Apparently, some salespeople came by and dropped a bunch of gifts, and she got a vodka for some reason. She got a bottle of vodka for some reason. All right. Anyways, so she got banana vodka. That sounds nasty. Banana vodka. Artificial banana itself already tastes like shit. And then vodka tastes absolutely horrible to me. So together, it sounds... It does not sound like an enjoyable time. I don't drink anyways. But banana vodka, it sounds bad. It sounds disgusting. Well, no shame in feeding's gone. I was about to talk about the episodes. Because I still have The Boys and From to talk about today. Thank God From is almost over. Labubu is a collectible plush toy monster elf created by Hong Kong designer Casing Lung and marketed by the China-based retailer Pop Mart. Oh, just a quick Labubu search on Google and that's the first description I get. This thing is an elf? I don't know, I got more Teletubby vibes from this thing than elf. I don't know, I kind of got more troll vibe, bunny ear troll, than elf. You know, I would love to see... I may not care, but I would love to see someone else's collection of every single Labubu you can get. Someone out there has to be so obsessed with this character. That person has bought every single Labubu plush, every single Labubu collection possible. I want to see that full collection. The New York Times, how Labubus turned into a global sensation. You know what? What does this New York Times have to say? I am not creating an account. You're kidding me, right? The world is upside down. The world is in shambles. I am not making an account to look at the New York Times. No, New York Times, you, sir, have lost my business. Hold on, let me look up something first. Trying to find a specific video. Oh shit. Ah, here it is. Okay. Stupid ads. Okay, I tried to find that video. Nothing really came from it. Let me pour myself some water, and then we'll start talking about the shows. We'll talk about The Boys, and then we'll talk about From. Yay. I also got a haircut the other day. I am so bald on one side of my head. The right side of my head has so much less hair than the other side of my head. Not because all of it was cut off, it's just because I'm genuinely bald on one side of my head. Well, it is what it is. Ugh. Alright, let's start talking about The Boys. So this was Season 3, Episode 6, the infamous Hero-gasm episode. And you know this episode was gonna be good when there was a freaking warning at the beginning of the episode. I screenshotted it too. So, the warning reads as follows. Some scenes may not be suitable for some, really most, let's be honest, all viewers. But rest assured that oh my god. But rest assured that any consensual relationships depicted, be they human, animal, superhero, or other, aren't real, harmed no one, and in fact cost a hilariously large amount in visual effects. Oh, did it. I love that the warning at the beginning was more of a joke, too. And in fact cost a hilariously large amount in visual effects. Oh, I bet. So, with the bum-ass warning like this at the very beginning, you know it was gonna be good. So the episode itself was actually pretty tame, pretty calm. Nah, I'm kidding. There was a lot of nudity in this episode. You know, it kind of makes me glad that I'm only now watching the show instead of when I was a wee teen back in high school. I think. When did the show come out? Okay. Oh no, this show would have came out after high school. Regardless, I'm glad I'm watching it now as an actual adult instead of back when I was in my late teens to early 20s, you know, nearing adulthood. So I'm glad I'm watching this now instead of when it came out. I just want to say that most of the stuff that happened in this episode, I wasn't really fazed by. All of the nudity and all of the, just basically everything that happened in this episode didn't really faze me. Nothing really fazed me in this episode. I don't know if this was the infamous episode that everyone was waiting for me to watch. If this one was just like, bruh, you're not gonna handle this episode. It is too much. I don't know if it's this one or was it something in season 4? Might have been an episode in season 4. I don't know. I guess I'll know when I watch the show and then I see this opening, this warning, at the beginning of another episode. So, I guess just one storyline at a time. There was a really small story with Kimiko and Frenchie. Kimiko is texting Frenchie like, are you mad at me about the kiss? She's going back and forth on what she should text Frenchie because he hasn't come back yet. She doesn't know that Frenchie got. So she's worried that Frenchie doesn't feel the same towards her. But then Kimiko gets got as well. And then we find out later in the episode, you kind of forget that, oh right, this storyline was in this episode. Just because of the main storyline in this episode was just taking up so much more. So we see Kimiko and Sherry were both taken. And a naked Frenchie gets dragged out. He gets chained, or he gets bound to this pole thing. And Nina makes him choose. Who lives, who dies. Choose between Kimiko and Sherry. It really reminded me of Arrow Season 2. Deathstroke telling Oliver to choose between Sarah and Shadow. Ultimately, both survive. Kimiko breaks out, kills that dude by slitting his throat, and then the other dude, while really beating down on Kimiko, you can hear, you know, the ribs breaking as he punches her there. Kimiko grabs this big nail and just keeps on stabbing him in the chest. Once again, didn't faze me. Well, they're all fine. They all get to live. Nina got away. But now Kimiko's all sad. She's sad that, you know, she thought her powers made her a monster, but no, it was in her the whole time. Now that she doesn't have her powers, she's still as vicious as she was before, just without powers. That's a very small storyline with Kimiko and Frenchie here. So the big thing that happened, the big stuff that happened in this episode. So all our characters separately go to the exact same place. So we first get A-Train talking with Ashley. A-Train wants justice of what happened because Blue Hawk paralyzed his brother and had this like giant, this giant episode, public fit in front of a black community. And A-Train wants justice. Finally, someone told A-Train off. So I want to take back what I said about the last episode. I'll get to that. A-Train was just like, I want justice for what Blue Hawk did. Ashley finally snapped. She's just like, justice? I have been covering for your ass for everything that you have done. Remember all the people that A-Train murdered? Including Popclaw? And now you want justice? So that put that thought into A-Train's head. Ashley, deep And Homelander, they're looking at security footage, and they see Soldier Boy. Homelander's like, oh my god, he's alive, he's back. Oh my god, if this gets out that Soldier Boy is here and wreaking havoc, Vought will be over. Homelander will be over. This cannot be. So they need to find Soldier Boy and take care of him. They know that Soldier Boy killed Crimson Countess. So they need to know where Soldier Boy is heading and what he's doing. Well, they figured it out. They recognized a pattern. Soldier Boy looks like he's going after all of his old team members in the paybacks. There was a scene before that. Homelander was talking to Black Noir, and he's silent as ever. Homelander was asking Black Noir, like, he was your old team's leader. Do you know anything? Black Noir just stood there in silence. And then Black Noir, he cuts his own arm to take out his tracker, and he goes in the dark. You know, at first when he was cutting his arm, I wasn't sure what he was doing. I thought he had something of Black Noir. What? I thought Black Noir had something of Soldier Boy's. But no, it was his Vought tracker. That's right, I forgot that was the thing. Season 1, Starlight cut that out too. That's right. So Homelander feels betrayed because he thought Black Noir was his one true last remaining friend he can really trust. But Black Noir is in the dark now because he took out his tracker. So Homelander is pretty upset about that. And here is where they realize, we know what Soldier Boy's doing, where he's going. He's going after all of his previous team members. Like Black Noir, that's probably why he took out his tracker. He ran away to hide. So they now know that Soldier Boy is going after his old team members. Up next, the closest one is the TNT twins in, I think, Vermont, wherever they said. Homelander sent the Deep to go and find TNT twins. And if Soldier Boy's there, to call Homelander. On the other hand, let's see, Annie and MM. MM is still pretty pissed that not only did Butcher roofie him, but Soldier Boy's back. MM himself already knew that the TNT twins were in Vermont, and he was just like, Butcher doesn't know, but he'll find out. Butcher and Huey are in this little, like, hotel room with Soldier Boy. While Butcher goes out to find a location on the TNT twins, Huey stays back and talks to Soldier Boy. Huey asks what happened at that building that you destroyed in the last episode. He's just like, I blacked out. He doesn't know what happened, he just blacked out. We find out why he blacked out later on. So, Butcher comes back with the location of the TNT twins, Vermont. So now all three groups are heading there. The Deep, Annie, and MM, as well as Huey, Butcher, and Soldier Boy. You know, we also get this little backstory on why MM hates Soldier Boy. MM feels responsible for getting his grandfather killed, his family killed because of Soldier Boy. But it wasn't his fault, you know? But he still blames himself, and he wants to get Soldier Boy out of his head. So they each arrive at the party one by one. The Deep has already been there, or the Deep is there. And what a strange thing for siblings, for a brother and sister to be hosting. Because the Deep goes in, and he's just like, this is the Hero-gasm. As if it's a big event, like Comic-Con. Annie and MM show up, and then we get the dude, the Soup, previously with the giant penis for a power. This episode, he gets the name Love Sausage. I think that was the name. And he's like, I like that name. Come on in. So inside, we see a bunch of soups having a giant orgy. You see titties everywhere, you see penises everywhere. And then you just hear, like, coming and orgasming everywhere. Whew! You see a bunch of people using their powers for pleasure. Like this one person, kind of like Sub-Zero, instead of creating weapons with ice, created a dildo with ice. You know, what was pretty funny was collectively, both groups, the group of Annie and MM, and Butcher, Huey, and Soldier Boy, both of them separately said, "Oh, Frenchie would have loved to be here. He's gonna be so sad he missed this." They both said Frenchie would have loved to be here. That is so funny. Annie, being the good person that she is, she notices that there's a bunch of innocent people having an orgy in here. And they know Soldier Boy is on his way, with his destructive ass on his way. These people are going to be collateral damage. It's going to be a bloodbath in here if we don't get these people out. And same thing on the other end. Huey's like, "Give me 3 minutes. No one else needs to die. No one else needs to get hurt. Let me just go in, see where the twins are, and then I'll come back and let you know. You only want the twins." So Huey, with his teleport powers, it doesn't teleport his clothes, so he goes into an orgy party, already in disguise, naked. And then, you know, this dude whispers into Huey's ear. He's just like, "Oh, I just need to give my butthole a rest." It's like, smart play there, Huey. Smart play. Huey, being butt naked in there, runs into A-Train. Why the hell is A-Train there? He's there to find Blue Hawk. And this is where I want to take back what I said about the last episode. I was wrong, and you know what? It's a good thing I was wrong. I was like, there's no way that now that A-Train has had a taste of his own medicine, will he apologize to Huey? No, I was wrong. He really did. Because Huey, now confident with temporary V in his system, because yeah, they did that too. Butcher and Huey injected themselves with temporary V again. Because Butcher made a deal with Soldier Boy, I forgot to mention that. Made a deal. The two of them helped Soldier Boy find and take out every member of his previous team, the Paybacks. In exchange, Soldier Boy adds one more name to his kill list, Homelander. So they made that deal. Now that they're going after a handful of soups, they need powers themselves. So Huey and Butcher juice up again. So Huey, now with powers, is confident enough to stand up to A-Train. And I'll admit I was wrong, and that's a good thing. A-Train actually apologizes. Huey's just like, "Hey, you never did apologize for Robin. You never did say sorry." A-Train's like, "You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Huey. Someone you love got hurt. I know what that feels like. I'm sorry." Like, I'm glad finally A-Train sincerely apologized. Even if it didn't come off that sincere in A-Train's own way. But he did. It was a sincere apology at last. Huey, he didn't accept it because he didn't know. He doesn't know. He's just like, "You son of a bitch. You're still acting like you don't care. And you're just saying sorry to get out of this." So here he just clocks him. Just, punches him in his jaw. A-Train's just like, "How'd you do that? Like, you, scrawny boy, how'd you do that?" Now, I don't blame Huey. Huey doesn't know that, A-Train went through that recently and that apology was sincere. I'm sure Huey will find out later on that, oh shit, that apology was real. Whoops. I guess now I need to apologize. We'll see. Oh yeah, there was also this small scene where Victoria Newman was talking with Annie, where Victoria Newman knew that Huey knew. So Vicky offered to make a deal with Starlight, but she declined. And Victoria Newman agreed not to kill her, because Homelander made Starlight America's sweetheart. It would have been really bad if she was found dead. So Victoria Newman did not kill Starlight. That's good. But Starlight did indeed decline Newman's deal. So we'll see where that comes in later on. So at the Hero-gasm, Soldier Boy's there. Annie and Huey while arguing. Annie tries to stop Soldier Boy, but Huey teleports her out, and they're both naked on the street. Damn. We get to see titties from random background characters, but we don't get to see the titties of main characters. It's disappointing. So the wedge between Huey and Annie that is growing ever so much with Huey's obsession to save Annie, but Annie doesn't want to be saved, doesn't need to be saved. I kind of understand Huey's perspective. I understand both, but I really understand Huey's. I'm kind of surprised Annie doesn't really see that too much. Of course she sees it. But, you know, she's right to be mad at him for juicing up. MM tries to take on Soldier Boy, but Butcher stops him. Soldier Boy leaves. He goes and sees the twins. And then he hears, in the Hero-gasm, the giant orgy, he hears that Russian song again. And then he starts to black out. And then he unleashes one of his, I don't know, Omega chest beams. Just like in the last episode. He heard that Russian song, and then he blacked out, and then he destroyed that apartment building place, killing like 19 people. So it's the song. That Russian song is a trigger for him. So there was indeed a giant explosion. A bunch of people died. Naked as well. Damn, that's a bit of a shame. That's a bit of a sad way to go. You're enjoying yourself in a giant orgy, and then suddenly you're dead. Blue Hawk tries to run out in his underwear, a little bit scorched. But A-Train's just like, nah, you're done for. You're paying. So he slams Blue Hawk on the floor and then runs with him, dragging his face across the pavement at super speed, killing him. And then A-Train's heart goes out. I highly doubt A-Train died. But that does mean when A-Train is found, there's going to be a dead body next to him and a giant trail of blood. And they're going to be able to tell that this body was not only the body of a soup, Blue Hawk, it also has burn marks, scorch marks, drag marks, whatever. They will be able to tell it was indeed A-Train who killed him. I don't know if Ashley would be able to cover this one up, because something like Popclaw's death wasn't public. Something like Robin's death wasn't too public. But this one, they're gonna know that A-Train basically just executed Blue Hawk. Alright, Homelander shows up. He first gets a fight. We also get a fight between Homelander and Soldier Boy. I think this is the first genuine time we see Homelander fight. It's kind of crazy. And then Butcher with powers chimes in, and they're actually able, the two of them are actually give Homelander quite a fight. A naked Huey also chimes in. The three of them pin Homelander down. Soldier Boy was about to unleash a blast that would have killed not only Homelander, but the two of them as well. But he wasn't able to. Maybe because he didn't have enough time to charge up his beam, or because he didn't have that song playing as a trigger. Regardless, Homelander retreats and flies off. There was also the scene earlier in the episode, Homelander in front of the mirror, and then his reflection, his mind is talking to him. And a whole bunch of lines here, I finally know the reference. These lines were ripped straight out and put into Mortal Kombat 1. Homelander versus Homelander, what do you care what a bunch of mud people think? And then it's like, you need me. We will be perfect. We will be clean, refined, like marble. And then there was also the line like, you still cry for love and approval. I don't know, it was those lines. Homelander versus Homelander in MK1, the lines were exactly ripped from this, where Homelander was speaking to Homelander. I love it. I love the references. So at the end of the episode, helps Annie in front of the chaos, in front of, the scorched building and the tons of body bags. Annie finally reveals to the world on, Instagram Live, the truth about Vought. She doesn't know who's going to silence her, what the consequences are for being honest, and she officially quits. She quits Vought. She is no longer Starlight. Earlier in this episode, there was also this little, montage with a couple of, guest faces, too. Let me look up the actor's name, just to be clear, just so I don't butcher their names. So, we see some familiar faces like Patton Oswalt. We see Kamal Nanjiani. Oh man, I butchered that name. We also see, Mila Kunis, and, I don't remember the guy's name who was beside her. It looked like their apology for when they were supporting someone who was pretty bad. I forget what the case was. But, it looked like that. And then there was also, what was her name again? It was wasn't it Amber something? Okay, that's not it. What was her name again? She was in Spy. Rose Byrne, that was her name. Jeez, Spy was 10 years ago? That came out in 2015. I went with my friends to watch that in the theater 10 years ago. Jeez. That was a really funny too. Melissa McCarthy, Jason Statham, Jude Law. It was a really funny movie. Who puts a roof on a scooter? What are you, the Pope? That's pretty much it for this episode. It was indeed adult and let's say hardcore, but wasn't as I was kind of expecting more. And maybe that's my own fault. All these years knowing a title was Hero-gasm, Maybe I just expected a little bit more. What I actually saw, yes, it was a lot, but it's like, meh. Doesn't really faze me all too much. Unless this isn't the episode that I was expected to be absolutely disgusted by. I don't know. Is there really a The Boys episode that I am truly gonna be sick to my stomach watching? I don't know. Maybe it's better if it's left as a surprise. There's an episode that out of nowhere I don't expect. It's like, oh god, this episode is so much. But we'll see. Well, that's pretty much it for this episode. Let's talk about From. I want to mention something I forgot to mention about the previous episode. And this has to do with Ellis. I mentioned last episode that everyone in that diner town meeting was dumb as hell, giving Tabitha crap. And one person who was also giving crap was Ellis to his father. Giving Boyd a hard time. Come on, Ellis, you should know better. He was just like, people are sick about, you just sitting here doing nothing, not taking chances. Really? Is that what I'm doing, son? How about this? Turns him around. Which life do you want to gamble on? Who? Which life do you want to risk? Huh? It's like, we made a really good point, Boyd. You made an excellent point to teach your son. Like, how stupid was that? Ellis, you're gonna tell your father that he's not doing anything? That he's not taking risks? Are you fucking kidding me? After everything that you know your father has been through, you're gonna tell him that? You get out of here, Ellis. Come on. I don't know, it's like pretty out of character, pretty bad writing at that moment, because it just didn't make sense. Why would Ellis say that to Boyd? If anything, Ellis should be one of the few people who would not say that to his father. Give me a second, let me double check if any lights need to be turned off. And also last episode, we finally get revealed, once again off screen. Fatima finally reveals to Ellis about the rotten vegetables and the blood cravings. Anyways, be right back. Alright, this episode opens up with Jim and Tabitha having an argument. I kind of side with Jim more. Tabitha's just like, what if people were right? What if I should have done more when I got out? Jim's just like, but you did. You tried your best. Tabitha's like, how do you know that? How do you know that I did? You just keep on saying things to comfort me. I don't know, I side with Jim more, because Tabitha did technically leave, and she was gone for days. There was no way for her to let the family know that she was alive, but the family did think she was dead. she did have to, Tabitha did leave on her own to try to help Julie. And Jim's right, maybe they could have done something together. I don't know, both sides are right, both sides are wrong. It's no winning, they had an argument. And Jim was actually absent for the rest of the episode, because he went to collect more food outside of the cabin. And I guess it's so far, you make it there, you have to spend the night there. Oops. Oh my god. Last episode, Julie and Elgin found a camera. I just knew that was going to be used for something. I just knew that Elgin, using that camera, he would eventually see something in the background of a photo. Which at the end of this episode, he did. Background of a photo, he took of Fatima, he saw that lady in a kimono. She whispered a sweet nothing into his ear, like, I can help you. If you help me, I can get you home. That kind of stuff. Alright, we'll have to see. Great, yet another mystery. So Randall is getting treated at the clinic. He's pretty banged up. He has quite a scar on his face, or pretty big stitches on his face and neck. Randall is still pretty shaken up by what happened with the cicadas. What happened to him, Marielle, and Julie. He talks to Marielle, it's like, how are you okay? Why are you pretending like nothing happened? Marielle actually invited him to stay at the clinic instead of always staying at the bus. He also talked with Julie a little bit too. Their shared experience of what happened in that dungeon they were trapped in last season. Donna is actually putting a bunch of rocks into the pool. At first I thought she was gonna wheelbarrow rocks back and forth for days to fill up the pool entirely, but no, she was just building a wall, just closing off Dale being infused in the wall. Well, that's nice of her to do at least. A nice pep talk between Donna and Tabitha. That was nice. Victor goes into the tunnels with his father, Henry, to find Jasper, the ventriloquist doll that belonged to Christopher. So throughout the episode, we would see the two of them traversing the tunnels, trying to find this Jasper. Eventually, they do find Jasper, but then the monsters started waking up. One of the monsters was even like, oh, Victor, one of these times you're gonna come down here and we're gonna make you stay. Henry actually finds something that belonged to his wife. Alright. Cool. So they find Jasper, and they bring him back to that truck, the back of that truck where Victor made it basically his hideaway home. And they need to find a way to make Jasper speak again, to tell them the story. So Jade is trying to figure out the puzzle with the bottle trees and all the numbers that are in the bottles. Boyd actually reveals, did you look at the second tree? What second tree? So there are two bottle trees. Two trees with bottles dangling from the branches with notes inside that has numbers written on them. So Jade goes to the second bottle tree, and he hallucinates Tom, the bartender guy, just like how Boyd occasionally hallucinates Father Cautry. Well, Tabitha with Ethan, she hears footsteps upstairs, and it's the Anghui kids again. Though nothing happens too much. Tabitha and Ethan go and help Jade try to solve the puzzle with all the numbers. Jade reveals that the two different trees, the bottles with the numbers, they're the same set of numbers. Obviously on different branches, but you know, they're the same numbers. What does it mean? So now they're trying to figure it out. And then Fatima's story. Boyd got told good news that the ambulance not only was a chock full of medical supplies, but it also had a portable ultrasound machine. Because of course the hell it does. What a stroke of luck. Luckily for them. Boyd goes to Colony House to let his son and wife know the good news, but Fatima revealed to Ellis what's going on with her, the cravings, the blood. The thing is, they don't explicitly say it, so I kind of forgot. That Fatima had a craving for blood. So when Ellis was kind of freaking out, like, okay, maybe there's something wrong, like Fatima, maybe something wrong with the baby. I kind of thought he was freaking out about her eating rotting vegetables. But no, I forgot. Alright, the blood. It probably did not help that Fatima told Ellis about the blood cravings off screen. This show loves all of its important discussions to happen off screen. It's frustrating. Well, Boyd shows up trying to deliver some good news, and then Boyd basically gets told Fatima eats rotting food and blood. Boyd was just like, Christy has an ultrasound machine. That was the good news I wanted to come and share with you. Fatima is just so frustrating this season. She is dealing with her pregnancy terribly. Now, I'm not one to talk. I can't get pregnant myself. I don't know what it's like to be pregnant. I can imagine it's very scary to be pregnant the first time. But she is handling it pretty badly. Pretty awfully. Poor Ellis for having to deal with her. Like, she really wants to know. Please, no, I just want the baby to be okay. I just want to know if there's something wrong with the baby. And then, you know, they get a godsend answer. Boyd tells them, we now have an ultrasound machine. She's just like, no, I don't wanna know if there's something wrong with the baby. He's like, make up your mind, please. You know, it's like, it's kind of like me with my grades. I don't want to know if I failed, but, you know, I also want to know if I failed, but I don't want to check my grade if I failed or not. It's kind of like that. Whatever. They eventually, hesitantly, go to use the ultrasound machine, and there's no baby. Fatima's not pregnant. The spot in her belly where there's supposed to be a baby, there's nothing in there. So, something's wrong with Fatima. She claims something's inside her, but it's not a baby. There's no fetus in there. There's no embryo, there's no fetus, there's no nothing in there. So, why is Fatima craving rotting food and blood? Well, don't forget, folks, a long time ago, I got potentially spoiled. I saw a theory, a YouTube title online, Fatima turning? Question mark? Ah, so this is what he meant. So, Fatima's not pregnant, is she turning? Turning into the monsters? Maybe her organs are drying up, shriveling, and, you know, she's dying from the inside out. Is Fatima turning into one of those monsters? For the most part, that's really all there is to the episode. I mean, there wasn't anything entirely stupid that happened. Fatima was just being irritating. Like, make up your mind, woman, please. It was a really slow, calm, tame episode. Not a whole lot happened. You know, I did mention Elgin and the kimono lady, her claiming she can help him. If he helps her, she can get everyone home. I don't know, for God's sake, this could end up another Sarah situation where it's like, they promise it would help us get home. Which we never followed up on. Have you noticed that? We never followed up on the voices Sarah's been hearing. Yeah, for the most part, that's the episode. Not a whole lot happened. Do not play that Doom the Dark Ages ad. Well, that's pretty much all I have to talk about. Just a reminder, right now I'm talking about The Boys Season 3, From Season 3, also Dead City Season 2 as the episodes air weekly. Soon, in a month, we are going to have episodes of Ironheart to talk about, as well as, yay, Squid Game Season 3 to talk about. Well, I don't have too much else to talk about. So, to watching videos I go. Oh, hello there. I'm just watching some videos on the side while shiny hunting this. Dialga is really taking its time, which is fitting for, you know, the Pokemon that's the god of time. But this next one's gonna be shiny, watch. Yep, the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. I suppose this does make sense. This is what I get. I got Mesprit and Azelf so fast, I guess this is just balancing out. Been doing this for 2 hours, almost. I'm gonna go until I hit 2 hours, and then I'm gonna call it for tonight. You know, I still haven't really made too much progress on my Brilliant Diamond replay. I don't really want to play that game, but I have to. Well, nothing's forcing me, I just will. I need to replay it. I don't really want to, though. Yesterday, instead of making progress, what I did was I just ran around, and thanks for the follow, by the way. I ran around and I just trained up my team until they were all level like 11. I'm at the very beginning of the game. I don't even have one gym badge yet. Like I said, I don't really want to play the game. So instead, I was just preparing a bit by just running back and forth and grinding. I don't want to play this game. But for Arceus' sake, I will. You got Ultra Moon when you were like 8, you didn't finish? Man, I don't remember what the original Sun and Moon games were like. I played those games once, and then Ultra Sun and Moon came out. I've only played Ultra Sun and Moon. I don't remember what the original game was like anymore. I still want to do that hunt, though. A shiny starter in Ultra Sun and Moon. I want to do that hunt. Eventually. It's going to be a really long hunt. And, yeah. Dialga, why? Just be shiny, please! Oh my god. So I got Ultra Moon when I was like 8. I don't think I understood that you had to make your own save and not click on the one there. It was only like halfway through, so I finished it and grinded like crazy, almost 400 hours, and now I realize that I don't know what was mine, assuming there was a previous save file, because my name is set to Tristan. I don't know anyone named Tristan. So I restarted and I'm trying to do everything all over again. Yeah, I did the same thing with my own game when I was younger. I think it was Pokemon Black or White. It was Gen 5. I just started a new game without erasing the old one. So I remember making it all the way to like catching the legendaries. But I couldn't keep my 3DS on forever. So I had to turn it off and then all my progress was gone. Yeah, I've done that before too. Well, about 5 more minutes and then I'll be out of here for tonight. This Dialga just doesn't want to be shiny. It hasn't wanted to be shiny for like 12 hours. This is number 6 of this, isn't it? Yeah, I've done this 5 other times, 2 hours each, so that's already been 10 hours. We're reaching 12 hours and no shiny Dialga. And here I got shiny Azelf in like 30 minutes. Well, really does not seem like shiny Dialga is going to happen tonight. Hopefully next time. Am I doing shiny charm? Of course. Of course, I had no shame in feeding help me with the shiny charms like I always have him help me with it. See, that's another thing I could do if I really want something to do. If I really just have too much free time on my hands. Create a living dex on 3DS. But I wouldn't just need one, I would need 2. Because any Pokemon that goes to the Gen 7 games cannot go back to Gen 6. So I would need a separate living dex for Gen 6 and 7. Maybe one day. But not anytime soon. I mean, it'd be fun to do, I suppose. There's something fun about the tedious process that is collecting everything. I'm at the tail end of almost being done for tonight. And I already talked about everything I wanted to talk about tonight. Talked about what happened with dinner tonight, and then talked about the shows. Talked about Labubu toys. Like, I've already talked about everything I want to talk about tonight. So, a couple more minutes, and then I'm done. Dinner? Yeah, my sister pissed me off at dinner. I don't know if she's gonna come home tonight. There's a good chance that... Actually, yeah, there's a good chance she won't. Tomorrow, we're gonna celebrate her birthday early. And she'll probably take the whole day off to continue that celebration. Oh well. I don't really have too much else to do tonight. I already cleaned the dishes. I don't have anything... it's probably too late to do the laundry. Yeah, I don't have anything else to do tonight. I'll probably just watch more AI presidents memes, because those are just so funny. Am I gonna do this tomorrow? Not tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'm going out to dinner to celebrate my sister's birthday early. I'll do this the night after tomorrow. You know, I really want to get the shiny Dialga. It's been 12 hours. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep on going until I get the shiny Dialga. Mewtwo took 12 live streams, so that's like 24 hours. So I can do this until you know, it shines. It averages out in the end. Yeah, huh? Okay, I'll do one last reset after this, and then that'll be it for today. And then I'll see you guys the night after tomorrow for more Dialga. Because aren't we all not sick yet of seeing Dialga not be green? Just like we were sick of not seeing Mewtwo green? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Alright, that was the last one for today. I'll continue this next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you all next time. Bye now.